So this is the largest Aveda salon in Florida, correct?
Well, Aveda is hair care products.
Okay.
Hair, body, and skincare products.
So what is it about the customer experience, why people love what you guys are doing?
I don't look back.
Yeah, you're just only looking forward.
You say, how did you get there?
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talkin St. Pete. I'm your host, Ryan Bogdan. So excited for everyone to be here. Thank you for listening, subscribing, watching, doing all the fun things. Just a quick reminder, this is sponsored by Bogdan Homes. So if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in the greater Tampa Bay area, find our contact information below. And now on to today's amazing guest. You may know it if you're a local here to St. Pete. We have the president, Joe Connell of J.Con, and the general manager, Mike Agrippina, right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you nailed it.
Okay, we've been practicing, folks. It's not, it's still a little early here on the Friday morning. J.Con has been around for 40-some years. They're a great staple here in St. Pete, and I'm very lucky to talk with two of these gentlemen here today, including Joe, who started this thing back in 1978. Is that right?
That's correct.
And so let's share a little bit, because I know it's Aveda, right? And so forgive me, because I'm not versed in the world, right? So
Sure.
So this is gonna be fun, because I'm gonna ask like fifth grader questions on how this works and get everyone spun up.
I love it.
So this is the largest Aveda salon in Florida, correct?
Correct.
So what does that mean?
It just means we've got a great partnership. At 44 years. Hopefully, we're getting it right. And it's taken us to the size that we're at. And a lot of that, the last 20 years, we've been associated with Aveda. And they've just been highly instrumental in our growth as well. They really give us great guidance as well.
Okay, so we'll dive into how we got there, right? Because if any business that makes it past 5 years is pretty amazing, let alone past 30, 40 years, right? So hats off to you for that. But what does, because Aveda's a thing that gets tossed around, but maybe not everyone's familiar. So what does that mean?
Well, Aveda is hair care products.
Okay.
Hair, body, and skincare products. They're part of the Estee Lauder family.
Okay, got it.
And so, as a salon, you can become affiliated with them. They don't have any ownership or anything like that. It's just, it's an agreement. We represent their products, but especially, in my opinion, the distributor for Florida, called the Salon People. Again, 44 years into this, we got with them 20 years ago. We had already been, with a lot of distributors in the past. That hands down, the most supportive group I've ever worked with in the industry.
Wow.
And the products speak for themselves.
Okay, that's great. And so, they're organic products? It's all.
I was in your shoes a few months ago.
Yeah.
I was a total rookie, and
Yeah.
Joe was educating me, and I've read up on it a little bit, and they were ahead of the game in being organic, vegan, all of those kind of things. They've been doing that for decades. And it's funny, the founder, I think his name is Horst, apparently at hair shows, he used to take the product and actually drink it like hairspray. And he's like, that's how natural this is. That it's healthy to drink even. So,
okay, so
maybe he took it a little far.
Right. But he's showing that there's no harm in these products. Okay, so that's a very cool aspect. But let's talk about how we came to be, and then I want to hear what Mike, his day-to-day and how he's running the operation. But Joe, I read on your guys' bio that you put your Corvette up as collateral.
I was 21. That's all I had.
Let's start with the vision. How did this came to be? Where did your interest decide to where you're going to put your car up to go start this business in 1978? Give us a little backstory.
Okay, so I got in the hair business. It was a weekend whim decision, to go into beauty school. I was a music major in college.
Okay.
So that's another whole story. So I get my license, and I worked for 2 different salons for 2 years, and there was a thing called the St. Pete Times back then, all right, a newspaper, and there was an ad in there for a salon for sale, and I had no clue what I was doing. So it wasn't far away from my house. I went in there, I walked in, there was 4 chairs, old salon, and I just said, I saw the ad, I'd like to buy it.
Going all in.
Yeah. I did not know you needed a business license. I didn't know anything. So, and I think what got me there, Ryan, was have 2 extremely entrepreneurial brothers. So
Are they older or younger?
Older.
Okay.
And I looked up to them, and it's like, hey, little brother, you got to get out there and do this thing on your own. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you found the salon in the newspaper. And you decide what? How long were you licensed at the time? what did you think that business was the right thing? Were you doing hair somewhere else? Like how does
I was in another salon.
Yep.
The owner, her husband would do a lot of the books, and so I was in that salon for about a year. And Chuck, he goes, I don't think you really want to do the books. He goes, hey, you want me to teach you how to do this? I'm like, absolutely. Right. So I learned a little bit, enough to be dangerous and to think I could do this on my own.
got it?
So
So he pulled back the curtain for you, and
That's
let
right.
you, and let you see what was under the hood, and then the wheels got spinning and said, "Okay, I can do this."
right.
And there's so much inspiration in that for people listening, thinking about starting something on their own. Is that we think we have to have it all figured out first,
Right.
but as you're an example of, it's sometimes better to just kind of figure it out as you go, because it forces you to the next step.
Sometimes. I mean, today I think the stakes are a lot higher.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more complicated.
How so?
Serious. Oh, geez. I mean,
I know. I like to ask the hard questions, Joe. Yeah.
thanks for starting off easy.
We're diving deep.
No softballs.
No softballs here. Yeah. I mean, what is it? Because it's more
It's
competition,
expensive.
higher costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the first thing that I would think of, is just the cost to get in.
Yeah.
Compliance issues.
Right.
They can just be great.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'm sure the regulations were a little more loose in the late 70s, early 80s.
Well, like I said, I didn't even get a business license, I did finally become compliant, though.
Got it. And now, Mike, you're helping run J.Con.
Yes, I started in January as the general manager.
Okay. That's fantastic. And where are you coming from?
I was traveling full time before this. Actually, Atlanta's home base for me.
Yeah.
But I was working in Chick-fil-A's leadership development program, and in that role, we just traveled full time to restaurants that didn't have a permanent operator.
Yeah.
And we spent a few months with them, getting things up to standards until we pass it off to the next guy.
Got it. Okay. So how did you guys connect?
We did have an ad out
Yeah.
for a general manager, but he didn't answer that. He wasn't looking for a job. Actually, is it better for you to
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
tell that
So,
story?
so I actually was serving at a Chick-fil-A in St. Pete.
Yeah.
For a couple of months back in 2021. And one of my best friends from Atlanta, he's from the area. So I texted him, hey man, in St. Pete, any recommendations? And he says, hey, I'll be in town next week. Do you want to have dinner with my family? So I connected with his family. His dad is a partner and friend of Joe's. So met him one time. About 6-8 months later, I got a call from Tom, essentially pitching me on this position that I had. It wasn't on my radar. I was pretty set going down the Chick-fil-A path. And it just felt like God opened that door. It was a long process, a lot of conversations and research and visits. But the more I got to know J.Con and what Joe stood for and the legacy they had established, the more I saw this is exactly what I want to do. I'm just trading chicken for hair, but really the values behind it.
That's a funny line.
I've not heard him say it that way before. Maybe we need to reconsider this deal.
No, I mean, well, one, their customer service is top notch. So that training there is definitely over well. Because Joe, I'm curious, like when you started this business, what was the vision that you would still be here 40 years later? Did you think that at the time? Okay, so I think that's important. And that's probably why you're still here, right? Because you had a long vision for it. So because now you have 60 plus staff?
80.
80, okay. Oh, you got to update your website. That's huge. And I know you guys are in a massive facility, which I know you leveled your way up to that. So maybe share a little bit about how that came to be. Because you started with the 4 chairs.
We started with 4 chairs on 9th Street and 23rd Avenue. We were there, I think, about 6 years. Then bought a location up on 85th Avenue. That was a 2,400 square foot building. We made 3 expansions there. Then a final expansion was added 2,000 feet more. So we had about a 4,500 square foot building. Bought the 2 houses behind it. Made a parking lot, and it just keeps going. So. I don't look back.
Yeah, you're just only looking forward.
You say, how did you get there?
Yeah.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
I've been saying that lately. One day at a time. And so I will say, you guys are doing really well, because I asked a lot of people, because I don't like Jake. To be honest, I only lived in St. Pete about 2 years. Okay, so there's a lot of business owners I sit down with, and I'm learning right as I go. And so I'm like, this J.Con thing keeps popping up, and I drive past it all the time. What is it? And this place is amazing. The service is great. I haven't heard a single bad thing. So you guys are definitely doing it right. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, because I do my due diligence, So what is it about the customer experience that you've built and with Aveda that why people love what you guys are doing? I don't care who wants to speak on that.
Yeah, go
Well,
for it, Joe.
yeah, let me start. When I go back, go back to the very beginning handbook and what do we want to do? What did I see the vision to be? It was founded on two things, pretty common, which was quality of work and customer experience. So, without those things, we wouldn't be here. Right. So you got to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep.
But for me, I think the other vision is servant leadership, man. I'll probably say it 100 times today, but it's what makes the difference. And I find a little bit older now, but if you sit there and trying to go, what do I want? What do I need? What am I? And it's all about self. I think that can end up being a little bit troublesome. And what I found is the absolute greatest fulfillment that I get is watching the light go on for somebody else. And, you get to lay your head on the bed at night and go, maybe I had a little bit something to do with that,
Yes.
So I love pouring into people and serving people. It's one of our core values.
I love that. I love that. And I was telling you guys prior to us going live that I was just at a leadership training in Texas where Gary Keller is going over that, billionaire, right? So you're listening to what this guy has to say when it comes to leadership. And he was like, real leadership is teaching people how to think so they know what to do and how to think when it comes time, right? Not doing it for them,
right?
But showing them the way. And like you said, the light bulb, turning the lights on. And so I love that you said that because it was everything that we were just talking about was servant leadership. So you nailed it on the head, and it's obviously working. Okay, so you got great customer service and a great product. How did the product? What is it that you're delivering? Because I know you do many things. From the service, right?
Right,
from
right.
the time someone walks in the door.
It ranges, and so we do a full array of hair services, cut and color. We have a barbershop section. We have a spa with 4 treatment rooms with massage and wax and facials, a nail section for manicures, pedicures, and we're always growing. We just added a few services a couple weeks ago. So it's like whatever the market demands and our people want to bring, we want to support that and equip them to succeed.
That's really cool. So what's that? You're always saying you're looking forward. So we're bringing new things on. Is one location always been the goal, or is there?
Well, we had 2.
Okay.
And they were only 1.5 miles from each other because that was the old one I told you about on 85th Avenue. And we outgrew that thing terribly. There wasn't enough air conditioning, enough hot water, enough parking, enough anything.
Yeah.
So a Luby's cafeteria came up for sale. We ended up buying that location. And we ran both. And it's kind of a different story, not because of the pandemic, but a buddy of mine really needed a piece of property. I don't sell I love real estate, by the way, right? Generally, I don't like to sell property, but I don't know if it was a God thing or what. But it's like, this is a good man. He needs it. He's been a client and a friend for a long time, and I'm like, I have no clue why I'm even saying this, but with the old building of J.Con, would that be of interest to you? So the bottom line is we ended up selling it.
Got it.
That was just before the pandemic hit. So honestly, it was a blessing in one sense because that was
just lined up for
pretty
you.
Pretty, yeah. Those were tough times for a lot of businesses.
Right. Yes.
So it put us back into the one location, but no, depending on what your questions are here, we'll kind of give you a vision of what the future is as well.
Well, yeah. I'm always curious as we're looking forward and looking to grow, and you add Mike on, right, to help you run day to day. What does that look like? Because this will dovetail into thinking of like, how do you feel about what's happening in St. Pete, right?
Okay.
As St. Pete continues to grow and expand, even from a downtown area, over the last 2-3 years, we've had a great influx of people.
Right.
How does that affect the vision and planning for you guys?
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It really inspires the vision in a big way. We talk about that at team meetings, how we can honor our existing guests who got us here while preparing for the new guest who's going to take us forward.
Right.
And we see St. Pete grappling with that as a city.
Yes.
I'm one of them. You are too, right? All these new people moving in, excited, ambitious. We want to continue to make this an awesome place and enjoy it. So we know that those customers are coming down and they expect excellence in all their services, right? Salon, restaurant, whatever. They're used to the city they came from that might have offered some great things. So we want to be that go-to stellar salon for Tampa Bay.
Yeah. No, you said it beautifully. I think you have to look that way of maintaining what got you there and also knowing that there's more coming. The waves are coming, right? The waves of people are coming in. And, with 80 some staff, I don't even know what kind of marketing you do, but I can imagine that word of mouth is probably, it's huge in this world, because if people ask, well, where do you go to get this done? Where do you go to get that done? And you have 80 advocates out there for you every day, and then all their people and all past customers. So is that your strategy? I mean, where do most of your people find out about you guys?
Well, there's I think there's a change coming for us, or we're in process right now. But no, to your point, I've worked with a couple marketing agencies in the past as well, and for our industry, word of mouth is still number one, unquestionably. But you have to be out there and market. That is, I mean, honestly, coaching, serving, growing people is my passion. That's what I love to do. And so marketing has never been a strong point for me. So I think it is seriously the quality and the experience that the clients have. And I mean, we're just a cool, we're a friendly place to come into, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, we started using the word that people would say, but, and you hear it a lot, but it's a family. It truly is. And the customers feel that way too. Now, you do have to market, and this guy is way better. I mean, he's
excited.
way more innovative on the marketing side.
Nice.
That I'm just like, Mike, just do what you do, buddy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's exciting. Yeah. I mean, we see even like what you're doing here, right? Like, okay, how can we come up with a creative way to tell our story? Right. Especially when it is something as emotional and there's a trust connection when it's someone touching your hair.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that's an important thing. You don't want to just go in some place that you don't have a reference or recommendation or a reason to believe they're the real deal.
100%. And I'm someone, when I kind of find my groove, it's like, it's on the calendar. We don't got to think about it. We know where it's going to have quality.
We love you.
Yeah.
That's the goal, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Okay. So aside from the salon thing, you being new and you being here for a bit, Joe, this is kind of fun, like contrast of dynamic. How have you seen St. Pete evolve with your business and just as our city in general? And where do you think we're headed?
So I was born here.
Okay. So you're the local of locals.
Oh, I mean, I say I was born on 4th Street and I've never left. That's pretty darn close. So I mean, it was old St. Pete. Nobody even went down Central Avenue or First or North or South. I mean, it was dead. So, I saw that. I did own, 20 years ago or so, I did have a salon on Central as well when it was kind of starting to come alive. And that was kind of cool. But, I mean, jump to now, oh my gosh. I mean, we're a small peninsula, right? So I think we're a small, crowded, and becoming more crowded and growing up.
Yeah.
Literally up.
Yep.
And I just think it's cool. I mean, there's a part, I'm used to being able to like fly up and down 4th Street and not worry about it. Well, those days are gone, right?
Good luck making a left.
The traffic is here.
Yeah. So, aside from that, though, I mean, you're growing or dying.
Yeah.
Right. So I think of that for business. I think about that for the city as well.
I love your optimism, for being here, because I've heard all sides of this. And not everyone feels the same way about that, but it's true. You're either growing or dying, and change is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's going to keep coming. So I'd rather it happen in a. I would say this is a positive light.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the city's got to do it right.
Yeah.
That's above my pay grade.
But all the local businesses here is what makes this place so special. And so you are an influence on the community here, for sure. And it's a staple of you guys on 4th Street. You can't drive up and down now. Like, for those who haven't noticed or they don't go, they're going to drive up 4th Street now and see your building. Right. So it's really special. Mike, for you coming in new, like what attracted you to St. Pete? Why are you here?
Yeah, so I was fortunate. I was able to test drive it when I was doing the Chick-fil-A program. I spent 2 months, lived in Tierra Verde, served at Tyrone Square Mall. Yeah, okay. So I got to see a couple different areas, I remember the first Saturday talking to the other employees, like, where should I go on Sunday? Where should I go to explore? They said, go to Green Bench and Bodega. So I'm walking up and down Central by myself, like, what is this place about? This is pretty cool.
Right.
And then I check out the beach, and I'm like, man, this place kind of has it all. So I had already been targeting Florida. I had lived in Jacksonville for a couple years, and I'm like, man, this is kind of just a better version of everything they have going on, you know? So I kind of loved it from the beginning and had been aiming to get back here. So when the door opened with Joe, it felt like meant to be moment. Like, man, St. Pete has all the things I really love.
Yeah, it really does. And I like to just hear you guys show, because some people are listening right now that aren't here, or they're in the car driving here because they're moving here. I've had some people reach out that says,
that's cool.
I'm driving to St. Pete right now, moving there. Your podcast is helping me learn the area. Yeah, it's really cool. So for those of you that are thinking about it, this is the insight on what's happening. And I know I'm jumping all around. This is just how my brain works. So because I was thinking, as you were saying, you're coming here, met with Joe, everything aligned, and you have so many people. Your training is definitely a huge part of what you guys do. Am I correct on that?
Actually, we had it was a section of the salon, but since 2005, we started what we call a Rising Talent Program.
Okay.
It's actually its own salon.
Yeah.
We integrated it into the salon, and it's always changing because the people getting into the industry, just things change. How they learn, how do you keep their interests? But Rising Talent is a cool.
So what is that? So because I saw, like everyone's kind of marked at a different tier.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. So Rising Talent is for COS school graduates, right? Aveda Institute is a huge benefit to us. They have a lot of local schools that produce great graduates. So they finish school, they have the basics. We want to set them up to succeed for their career, right? Not just the technical how to do a certain cut, but how to run a business, how to build a relationship, what are the metrics that are going to drive you over time, right? So we're able to give that over 12 to 18 months. They start off with more classroom education, and as they succeed, they build more days behind the chair. So it's a combination of apprenticing, education, experience. They have a list of models and types of cuts they have to do and get checked on. And our goal is to provide the support to help them reach their dreams and goals.
Got it. So
I want to start there, man.
Yeah, yeah, recruiting. So I'm brand new out of school, and I can come to you guys.
Yeah,
and you're gonna help me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we interviewed an awesome barber from Orlando yesterday. He's about to graduate this month. He is fired up and dedicated, former military guy as well.
Nice.
So he kind of brings that maturity and focus.
Right.
And he's like, man, I think we have the most important job in the world. Because before every big event in your life, what do?
Right.
You get your haircut. He says, even when people pass away, before they go meet God, what do? I'm like, man, I never heard that before. So shout out to Carlos. But it's pretty cool.
That is true. Okay, so yeah, Joe's loving it.
You missed that part of the interview. He stepped out for that one. Yeah.
He's loving it.
That one's pretty funny.
Shout out Carlos.
Yeah.
Okay, so training in school. So there's a move up. So you have like your master stylist, barber, and then you have your apprentice underneath that, which is a unique structure to that, and giving people an opportunity. Because I think in this profession, it kind of is, what comes first, your skills and who you're going to cut if you don't have any, know what I mean? So to give people a platform.
Yeah.
Was that a vision for you at the beginning, or when did that come?
No, not. I mean, in the beginning, I was 21. I didn't have a clue. Right.
But I mean, like when did it come to be like, okay, I'm going to take newly licensed people under my wing and help them?
That's a great question. I don't think that I know the exact when, but it just kind of evolves. You get and people come and go. Especially now. I mean, the world is transient, so people are moving all the time.
Right.
So we hit that point, and as you grow, then you do have chairs to fill. People leave, so we realized we had to create a bench. Basically, just so that I think of it as a bench. So you always have to have your next generation coming up.
Right.
So it's a great blessing and a gift when we get an experienced person, which is amazing what's flooding in to us right now. I have no clue why, but applications with experienced people moving into the area, it's like we're really blessed.
They're listening to the podcast. That's what's happening.
Yeah, they are now. You're going to get some more, I'm sure. Okay, so I mean, is there a capacity of where you're at for where, you can only take in so many, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's actually something we've been working on. Yeah. We have about 35 chairs, right? And we try to maximize that utilization of every spot we have. But when you start to bump up against that ceiling, it's a good sign. We want to have a wait list. We want to have a bench, be able to have the best people. Yeah. And one thing that stood out to me when I met Joe, talking about J.Con, no ceiling, no limits, always forward. Those are some of the mottos that you'll hear over and over again. And we see that because some of our stylists who have been there for 20 years, they started in Rising Talent, right? And now they're six-figure stylists, and they're achieving their dreams and making big life goals happen. And we want to be part of that. We want to support them.
You're changing people's lives.
That's what it's about.
Yes, it is. Impact is important. Impact is important. And I saw you even core values: passion, care, excellence, trust, serve, fun, and forgive.
We need to update our website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got now for core values? Look,
You're dead right, and those are good ones.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah. But we look at gratitude,
Yes.
generosity, humility, kindness, serve, love, and forgive.
And we end on the forgive. Can we touch on that just as like a high level?
My favorite one.
Yeah. So why is that so important to you, Joe?
Bitterness eats its container.
Ooh.
Right.
That.
So I've just learned, got a strong faith. We and all of these are biblical principles. So I mean, just think about forgive. All of us, right? We can sit there and think, where is it where that thing just eating us alive? And that's the statement right there. It eats us alive, right? So through my faith, just forgive and move on, right? It doesn't mean you're going to repeat an action with somebody necessarily, right? So I'm not saying be dumb, right? be smart about
Forgive,
things.
but don't forget.
There you go. Well, we're getting closer. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that one a lot too. I remember reading that and being like, because it does imply that there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be disputes, right? It's honest about that, like any family or team, that's bound to happen. And I think it lines up well with one of our principles. We don't always agree, but we always align.
That's a word I use a lot. Are we aligned?
Right.
Yes. Because even I think the best decisions come when everyone is disagreeing and voicing different sides and you're battling best idea wins. But once we agree on that idea behind closed doors, we go out there and we are aligned.
Yes. And I just started, I'm going to have to try to remember the name of the book. It's 6 Hats of Conversation. Essentially I'll pull up the title, then we'll see it. But essentially is that the way we normally have come to decisions is through argument, right? I have an idea, you have an idea, and we're going to battle it out to see whose idea is better, right? And so the premise of this book, and I got this from Gary as well at this event, was you say, okay, let's have our yellow hat conversation. Let's have a red hat conversation. Let's have a black hat conversation where, black is like, what's all the possible things that could go wrong? And let's stay there and let's you think of all the possible things and I think about all the possible things. So now our egos are working to see who can come up with more ideas instead of battle each other. Or let's have a white hat conversation where we're just looking at facts. There's no emotion. There's no anything else. Let's just lay out all the facts that we have. And so now it's a battle of who can remember more facts or who can come up with more facts about the situation. Now we can shift gears and look at it from maybe a red hat situation, which maybe is emotional or what are the outcomes or driving factors. And I'm just started this book, but when you said about, we disagree or going through things, is that we're with this approach, we're able to get through to decisions a lot faster. And collectively, because we're becoming parallel with our one direction on focus, right? So back to teaching people how to think.
Right.
If I'm teaching you, okay, don't let the negative in this part of the conversation right now. Let's just look at the facts, or let's look at all the great possibilities that could come out of this scenario, and let's think of all those. And then let's figure out which one is going to lead to the best outcome, instead of trying to battle each other ideas. I don't know. Fascinating and a new way to think about it.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
It talked about how our modern day way of thinking comes from, maybe from Plato, if we look back in his writing, and just pointing out all the obvious and looking at every scenario and every argument on a situation where we could take a different approach to how we have conversation and how we think about things. We could actually get to decisions a lot faster if we can all focus our concentration on one area, a topic. I don't know. I think it's a fascinating thing, and it might be something for any organization to look into when it comes to making major decisions, because arguments can waste a lot of time.
Absolutely. I like that approach a lot, channeling everyone's energy in the same direction.
Yes, and this book talks about the hat way is an easier way of saying, well, let's not be emotional about that, right? Because now that's going to stir up something of like, no, just let's take off our red hat and put on our other hat, right? You don't even have to say what it is if you can get your whole team on alignment with using that way of thinking.
Yeah.
I got to dive into it more, but you just had me,
Yeah, we love the book title afterwards. We'll have to check that out.
Yes, I'll look it up. It's on in my Amazon card. Because I just started it last night. But so besides all this fun salon things, you being here since you were born and now 2 years in, what do we enjoy doing in St. Pete when we're not working or building a business?
I'm just trying to learn how to not work.
Okay. Yeah. How's that going for you?
But let me get my wife on here with me. What do I enjoy? Don't St. Pete, when I say that, they've got to do it right, don't mess with that downtown waterfront. I mean, that to me, that is the gem of St. Pete.
It is.
I love it down there. My wife and I, we walk down there, we bike down there. I'll be down there most mornings. I absolutely love it on that waterfront downtown. I'm not a beach guy. I'm a boat guy. I love water, not necessarily with the sand.
Yeah, I get that.
But downtown St. Pete, the other thing, you're asking me what I do. I'm just telling you what I love about St. Pete.
That's all right. That's the same thing.
That ferry that goes to Tampa.
I haven't been on that yet. How is that?
Well, it's not just that. When we came back, it was sunset, and probably will be forever the image of the most beautiful St. Pete I've ever seen.
Wow,
because
you're not selling that right now. Huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we bought into the ferry.
Yeah.
No. Just kidding. But it is, and we'll be out on our boat, and just to be out there a little bit off of the pier and look at downtown, I think it's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
My wife and I, we were just a month or two ago. We were on or maybe not even that long, the Vinoy in the renovation.
Yep.
We were sitting on the front porch, and it's true. You got to ask, why do you go anywhere if you think it's going to be more beautiful? Because it's not. The lighting of downtown, the water. It's a marina right there. It is.
And you got the sunrise in the morning coming up over the bay, and that sunset dropping back there and lighting up the skyline. It is. I haven't seen it from that angle, from the water, other than coming over the bridge, but from the water.
So, maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight. Let's go
Post
check
game,
it. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
The other
Mom's
day,
coming in tonight too from out of town, so maybe we get her on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
the other day, Joe was like, we were thinking about going to the beach, but then we just went to Beach Drive.
Still the beach.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's great. And you're right. I had Wendy, our nutritionist that was on here, and she said one of the things that's special about St. Pete, she was the first one that articulated it this way, is that how much waterfront we have access to. Mm-hmm. Because even in Tampa, right, people are building right up to the water, but we have public access to a lot of water because of our peninsula, and it's great that Vinoy's locked in. They can't build there, right? So we don't have to worry about taking that away. You got Gulfport. You have all this access to water. Which and there's not a day that you can't walk out to that water's edge and you're not going to see a dolphin.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And how special is that?
And the manatees that are coming here, my word.
Yeah, so super cool. What about you, Mike? Since you've been here and you're really integrating, what are you doing when you're not working? I know Joe is cracking cracking down.
We do love to work, but I'm exploring. I'm loving St. Pete. I am more of a beach guy. I like getting out there. My girlfriend lives in Seminole, so she's introduced me to some of those, like Reddington, Indian Shore, some of the beaches out there that are really hidden gems.
Yes.
And then I live close to J.Con, so I can ride my bike down first all the way to North Shore Park, and that ride is incredible. Joe was the one who told me you get the extra long bike path, extra wide, and you can just take it all the way down to the water, and it's doesn't get much better than that.
Does not.
Every time you bike down there, it's like volleyball, tennis, soccer. There's always a ton of stuff going on. Every weekend there's music and festivals, and it's just hard not to have fun. There's a lot going on.
I just love this place, and it's so great to connect with you guys and hear all the things you like doing. Do you guys read at all?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. What are we reading right now? What do we recommend? If you're going to give a book away, Joe, what are you going to give away?
Everybody Matters.
Everybody Matters.
Bob Chapman.
Okay. Gotta add that. I can add that to the list.
Fierce Conversation, Susan Scott.
I've heard that one. I haven't read that one either. That's
pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Joe put me onto those. Those are excellent.
Yeah.
Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willenick is one of my favorites.
I'm listening to that right now.
Listening's even better because you get that Jocko Navy SEAL voice,
Yeah, that's good.
And then I guess if I'm going to give a second one, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
I've heard such good things about that book. I haven't
Awesome
picked it up
book.
yet.
More of a life book than a business book, which I think is even better because you really see the journey.
It's all about, we think like 80 to 90% of the same thoughts every day. So if you're not feeding your brain new information, you're kind of just repeating those same thoughts over and over and over again. And so it's fun to hear what other people are diving into.
What are your go-to recommendations?
If I'm going to give a book away, the first one's The Four Agreements. Don Miguel, Four Agreements. Yeah. It changed my life, the way I look at everything. Even bringing someone new onto the team, whatever. Like anyone going through, I'm like, oh, here's a book. I keep a stack of them in my office just to give out. The Atomic Habits is also really good.
Hearing about that one,
James Clear, fantastic book, Joe. You got to get into that. Trying to think of some other ones. Think Like a Monk is also
Jesse Itzler, cool guy.
Jay.
Different one.
Yeah. Jay Shetty. Thank you.
Oh, I've heard his podcast.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
No, that's a really, really, really good book. There's so much, Think and Grow Rich.
That was like my first book 100 years ago.
Well, there's
Holy
power in
hell.
that. Yeah. Power in that.
Yeah, it's back. It's back and popular.
Yes, no, it is, and because it's so true, and you guys, you being in successful business for 40 years and having that vision, super important that you had that early, right? And it led you to this moment here. It's just incredible. What okay, so we got places you like to go. We know there's so many outdoor fun activities. Where do we like to go eat besides Bodega?
Well, my staple is a Red Mesa family of restaurants, right? I think they do a phenomenal job. It's close to the salon, so if I'm going to have a meeting or anything, I'm going to be there, right?
Yep.
El Retorno,
That's great.
love that. I like Rococo.
Yeah.
My wife and I like that. So
Good spots there. Some staples.
yeah,
I like that. Okay. What do you found, Mike?
Yeah, I feel like just going up and down Central, it's hard to miss. Those are all pretty excellent. Close to J.Con, I love Cali, kind of tucked away over there. It's a good spot. Red Mesa, that's where we had our first several meetings. I was like, I think this guy likes Red Mesa.
We know where to find you, Joe.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. I had something else I was going to say about that. Oh, yeah. What do you think St. Pete is missing?
Ooh, good question.
what is St. Pete missing?
Yeah. If you had a decision, you could drop something in. I know it's something to think about. It might
Silence,
Silence.
right? No, I mean silence here.
Yeah.
Which is a good. I mean, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's not missing
From
much.
No. Right.
We were talking a couple weeks ago. They're missing empty pickleball courts, it sounds like.
Oh,
yeah.
it's true.
Pickleball is blowing up.
Crazy.
Blowing up.
I was in San Diego last weekend, and they have this huge pickleball complex. We drove past it. I was like, man, that is massive, and it is packed.
Yeah.
Don't we have one opening?
I don't.
I
know
heard.
if is there?
Like a little south downtown, like 16 courts?
Oh.
And we're getting a Top Golf too, I heard.
Yeah. No, that's true. That it might be almost done, if not already up.
Out in Carolina?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The pickleball court is news to me. We gotta. Yeah.
Location, I don't remember.
Yeah, but I know that out near Crestview and all that.
Crescent Lake.
Yeah. Thank you. Out there. Lots of the big. Everyone busy and say you got to show up early or you're not getting on the court. And things
true.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That sport's blowing up.
Yeah, my buddy and I used to play there a few years back in the morning. I mean, we could pick any court we wanted.
Yeah.
I was going to take my wife out there. It was only about a month ago. She had 2 knee replacements, but wanted to get her out there on the court. And it's like, holy smokes, this is craziness.
Yeah.
In a good way, but
No, it is. It's
Yeah.
it's a very popular sport, easy entry. You do not don't have to be super skilled to get into it. But then it's like, you can become a easy entry, but the mastery of it, right? Because you got some people out there that are just crushing it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's cool about St. Pete. You have that, you have the volleyball, you have all these different communities and it's everyone being active and outside. There's something about that sun. Joe, I know you can't relate because you lived here your whole life, but I'll tell you from coming up, living in the Northeast, right? Or anywhere where it gets cold and gloomy for weeks on end. Miserable.
right?
Miserable.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
So you come down here, it's really nice to feel the warmth of the sunshine.
No scraping ice off the windshield.
No scraping ice off. No, we can't
Being
be doing-
spoiled for life's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
I'll take it.
It's worked out pretty well for you. Yeah.
Joe's spoiled out here. Joe's spoiled. So what's next? We kind of touched on that a little bit. If we dive into your vision a little here, as a business owner that maybe now is like you've been doing this for 40 some years. When do you step away?
Oh, I love what's next.
Yes.
I do. So I've been working at about 7 years to really figure out how do we move this thing forward and creating a leadership team. So I just took, what are the hats that I wear? And so I've worked to create people for each of those positions, and a lot longer process than I thought to get it right. It's to me, it's a big learning curve. And the other thing is, I used to lead the business and had people help me do what I was doing. So my vision now is I've got a phenomenal senior leadership team of 4 folks, right? So let them do what they do and let me be the support. Because I think right now what I bring is experience, but I'm not 30, and so that 30-year-old has a different view, a lot more innovative to what today is, And I want to be a part of that, and I love to be a part of that. You know, that's the cool thing about my industry is I always get to work with young people. I mean, I look at my friends; they're all old people. You know, I don't have to be that, right?
Right.
So I get to work with a lot of young people, but let's get those young minds in the leadership role. And honestly, I think the main one was I was looking for this position, and it might sound like, well, it's only been 4 months, so it's kind of the honeymoon. I'm pretty darn convinced that I found the guy that thinks like I think, has the values that I have. Truly.
Let's do it.
You know, and
Just different heights, you said, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, people would think we're twins. You know what I mean? So, you know, that I was looking for that right person. You know, so it was a long, you know, quite a long search, and to me, you know, everything that I do is I think is God led. You know, He brings the right people. He removes the people at the right time. But you know, so I saw, and I did this. I had it was called Dare to Dream, one of the industry's seminar that was on about 2,000 people, and they were asking me, "What's your succession plan?" And I said, "You know, I've been given the gifts to bring it to where it is, but I'm looking for the young folks to take it. And truly, I see J.Con becoming now way bigger than what I've ever been able to do because, you know, I've taken it to here, created what I think are the people that will take this thing. But the main thing is the reasons and the values have to stay the same.
Yeah.
And you know, our other location, its legal name was Opportunity 7, right? So it's all about, to me, truly, it's about opportunity, serving people, giving them the opportunity that we've had. And I'm positive that Mike will continue to take it in that direction, but he doesn't get rid of me. I'm gonna be the experience behind him, trying to give him some guidance.
Yeah, coaching him through that and keeping the vision aligned, right? Back to alignment.
Absolutely.
And
we have it recorded now. So.
Yeah. Yes. yes. Exactly. So with all that and coming up and getting to this spot, a question that came up for me while you were saying all that is what. You know, we talked about servant leadership, but I'm sure you've had your troubles and tribulations through all of this. What are some big things you've learned through business and being a leader in this industry over the years that stuck out to you? If you were like, you know, you're interviewing Mike, he's brand new, and he says, "Look, what have you learned over your time?" What are you telling him?
Wow, I love the simple questions.
Well, I'll give you some runway to take this wherever you want.
What are, you know, we've all heard this. Yeah, you have to have the competencies and the skills, but character and culture trumps everything, right? So I'm going to look for the people who are aligned, the people who have the values. I know it seems to be repetitive, but my gosh, it's core.
Yes.
It's the main thing. I think that's mainly it. Yeah.
Culture.
Culture, values.
Yep.
You know, principles, and part of that is learning that we all have some ego. We have our. I was highly competitive, right? So you look at winning and that type of thing. But again, my experience is who was it? One of my favorites is you get what you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. I don't worry about me.
Right. Yeah. Just take care of others.
I'd rather worry about 80 people. Right.
Right.
And I know by take care of 80 other people.
Yes.
And I know I'm taken care of.
That's I couldn't have. Yes, that's why I asked, because it's always interesting. You know, when you do one thing for as long as you've been able to do it, you definitely become a master and craft at that. So you have what an amazing mentor.
It is incredible.
You know,
Absolutely.
for you. Seriously, that's really, really cool. And culture is so important. We've touched on that so many times. I had another question, but I forget. I don't know.
No worries.
Joe stumped me. Joe stumped me because he's like, "Thanks for the easy question."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, man, you're welcome. Teed me up there. No, I love what you guys are doing. It's really cool. And I think more people need to check it out and see. Man, it's almost coming back to me. You know, that's what's tough.
Let's go,
because we don't want to. We don't want to have dead air. You know,
right?
So I have to sit here.
Let
and
it breathe. That's fine.
And think. Yeah. So I don't know. So what else is new? What do you guys got going on this weekend?
Well,
whatever. Remove that last part.
No.
What do you got going on?
You know, we're talking St. Pete. We're talking to people that are coming in.
Yeah,
I understand that from 4th Street East.
Yes.
Right, is the the fastest growth of wealth on the west coast of Florida. I heard that, and I believe that that's true. And so, with that, not that we were slacking before, but it's just ramped us and amped us up to want to really give a more luxurious service. And so I'm pretty pumped about that. I mean, I was talking to some of our stylists today. What about this? What about that? And would you be behind that at the chair? Do you think that'd be a good idea? And they go, yeah, that's a great idea. So, for us, it's about truly elevating the experience to be what I call true luxury. I'm a casual guy. I like casual.
Yeah.
I like just the relationship. I don't want to lose that. I want it to be a professional environment that feels like your living room or family room.
Yes, and thank you. Somehow you saying that let it come back to me, because you built out this model with the training and the school, and having this large location and a lot of people. And I'm curious, what was this your vision? Did you have something else that you saw or a model in a different business that you mimicked? Like, how did this? Because I don't know of a salon at this scale, especially in one location. And tell me, I don't think there is one.
Not anywhere nearby.
Right.
I mean, around the country, I know some other, got some friends that have, larger than what we are, actually. So,
Okay.
Great to have that kind of network as well.
Yeah, but you didn't always have that, or you didn't have that while you were building that. So I didn't know, like, was there something that you were going off of, or was it just your own intuition?
Day at a time, man.
Yep.
Day at a time.
Got it.
Build the next stylist, and it just, like I said, after 44 years,
Here's a good question, Joe. When's the last time you cut hair?
It sounded like a question he was trying to stump me.
I don't know.
Well, still got it.
I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting, but we're talking business operations, right? And he did start, from behind the chair.
No, that's cool. It's kind of the fun part. The fun answer to that is my 3 clients who I kept for a long time, right? This makes sense. My accountant, my bookkeeper, and my wife.
Nice. That's beautiful. I love that.
So my wife still gets in the chair, and I cut her hair. It's the reason she married me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that how you met?
No.
Oh.
No.
That'd be a fun story.
It is pretty special because we do quarterly goal setting meetings with everyone. And I've got to sit in on a few with Joe, especially in the beginning, just getting to hear the way he operates and facilitates those. And when he gets to reference of like, I spent 20 years plus behind the chair and this is what I know works. That authority is, it's inspirational. Yeah. And you hear the way that he would explain the service to their guest of like, this is going to be different than any service you've ever received before. And here's why. And it's like, you give this man 60 seconds and you can see why he built what he built.
Right. Yeah. Master of the craft.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 20. They say you only need 10 years to really master it, right? 10,000 hours, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you're above that. That's really cool. You guys, I mean, amazing vibe. I'm a guy. Come check it out for
Absolutely,
sure. I know
please.
I haven't been able to yet, but I appreciate the invite and having me come in and feel what this experience is all about. Yeah, because I love the vibe. I love all this. And if where can people go to learn more?
Check out our Instagram at J.Con Salon.
Yep.
Website, Instagram, call to book. We have great guest care advisors who will help matchmake to find you the right person. And I have to give a shout out to
pretty cool.
It is, yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, because I was about to.
A shout out to Rachel Reddle.
Yeah, yes.
When I first moved here, she told me I had to check out this podcast. Her friend from the gym runs this awesome podcast, and I was listening to the first few episodes, taking notes on restaurants and fun things to do. So that she is really the reason why we are here now and that we know about it. So
shout out Rachel, thank you.
She cut my hair too, so
nice. No, that's great. No, that's what the small business community here in St. Pete is really tight knit. Everyone's looking out for each other. I think it's really special, because for me, going to that gym, meet other people that have led to more guests coming on this show, and it's just snowballed, from there, and we get to dive behind the curtain of stories of things that people, this is however long we've been chatting, right? To put all this on your website in the bio would be a lot, and so we can uncover some things and people can connect with you even on a deeper level to know how Joe built this amazing business, and now how Mike is going to take the reins here and run and grow it and keep doing fun things.
And what you just said is really interesting. Since the pandemic, trying to get businesses back to normal has been quite a challenge. And I thought about that getting ready to come on to here, but in that same period of time, this guy here with Rachel and Rose and a few that have in the salon that have said, hey, this is what's going on, with small businesses downtown. I'm like, I'm not there. right? And I'm like, I want to be there, right? But he's there,
Right.
I mean, and he jumped into that opportunity. Not just opportunity; it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's a give back as much as it is an opportunity. I do like to, you know, how. So I mean, any businesses, if I can give my 2 cents on what I would do, or that, you know, I love that. So I really do love to just have community of business owners. But once this opened up, that truly downtown St. Pete was a cooler community of business owners than what I knew. And Mike's getting involved in it, and now I'm just like, I'm kind of jazzed for that, but jealous that it ain't me. You know? It could be. Come on.
Well, you are still there, and I can see that for you because you're maybe, you know, we all have bias on situations, and so since you being, you know, growing up here and living here your whole life, how you view St. Pete and how I view St. Pete are going to be totally different, and versus how Mike views St. Pete, and so it is evolving and changing, and so you're, you know, to watch your perspective change on that, and you realize, well, wait a minute, there's a lot happening here that I'm because I'm still thinking how it was maybe even 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. I'm glad you.
Well, I think that's what's cool for us at J.Con. And I mean, we talk about this is you know, I'm the experience, right? But he's the young innovation. And I mean, what two factors could accompany? I don't care how small or big they are. If you've got both of those, you know, at your disposal, wow. So, I mean, I think it's great things for future customers at J.Con, to tell you the truth. Yes.
Dynamic duo. We're
dynamic
gonna try our
duo.
best. That's
We're
right.
unstoppable, man.
And really, the perspective that Joe shared with me from the beginning that really struck a chord is he said, it's not my business, it's God's business, and I'm a steward of it. And stewardship is this super important concept at Chick-fil-A. It's in their mission statement, right? That their purpose is to be stewards of all that's been entrusted to them. And that's how Joe has built this, right? With no ego involved, but really like, how do I steward what has been given to me? And how do I provide for all the people who that touches? And that's been a special thing to be a part of because it's bigger than us.
Yeah. No, it really is. I mean, you're leaving behind a legacy here that can go on, you know, and you can tell that this brand of J.Con that's been built can be bigger than just what's here in St. Pete. You know, so I'm sure there maybe is talks of what that looks like.
I mean, you get me all jazzed here talking about this thing. I can't stand it. I love this. Yeah.
Hey, I think I know that we are limited by how big we can think. And so I'm one to I want to be pushed. The minute I start thinking small, I want people around me that are going to say, hey, you think bigger than that. Think bigger than that. And so I always like to push others around me, no matter who it is, to just keep thinking bigger. Because as we learn and Think and Grow Rich, that's going to be your biggest limitation.
I heard that yesterday from Joe talking to a new applicant. Dream big for me. What do you want your life to be in 5 years, right? Like giving someone permission to dream big is a powerful thing.
Yes. And we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5. So we can achieve a lot.
That's pretty profound right there. That's true.
It's true.
I've never thought of it that way.
Because it's compounding, right? There's so much. The first year, it's like, you know, that snowball. It's just slowly getting the roll. But as it goes on and on, you know, it gets bigger and bigger and faster. Momentum really picks up. And so, you know, we have to think of, we can do a lot more in 5. Let's forgive ourselves and give ourselves some more grace to what got done in 1, and know that year 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be even bigger. And you can reinvent yourself every 5 years or compound on that last thing. And so it's fun to think about how many more 5 years do you have left in your life? Because you can do a lot.
A lot of chapters.
Yeah, well, you can do a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can do a lot in 5 years.
Yes.
Well, wasn't it, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders or whatever, didn't he? I heard he started that thing at like 65 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. And look at that.
Yeah. He's done pretty good.
Yeah. I think you did all right. So I'm excited for the next chapter now that I'm in your world and understand it even more, to see what happens. Because I'll tell you, St. Pete's home for me. I'm not going anywhere. This is the first time since I joined the military, because I moved around, lived all over, that I feel at home, to build a base here and build relationships with you guys, to know that, I'm not leaving in 2 years. You know,
Same
it doesn't
here. The
get better,
continuity
man.
is a blessing. Man.
Yeah,
It feels really good to have some security and long-term vision. So thank you for bringing us into the envelope for this community you're building.
Yeah, of
of
course.
business owners and exciting people in St. Pete.
Yeah.
It's fun to learn.
No, it's really fun. It's been a great time. So for those that have made it this far, I'd like for them to leave a comment. And so what should we say the word is? Joe, I'm going to give it to you.
What the word is?
So, like, if they are still listening, I'm going to tell them to leave a comment, and just so we know that they made it this far. So it's like a little secret, one word or two word thing. Could be J.Con, could be forgive. But I want it to be your word, Joe. What are they saying? If you're still with us, they're going to comment.
Serve others.
Serve others. Love that.
That's great.
If you're still here, comment, serve others, and don't forget to lead with that today for yourself. I appreciate both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a blast.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it's been a really fun time. And if you need a fresh cut or a list of all the other services, that's too long because we'd have another hour podcast. Go check out their website. Go check out their Instagram and get your next service at J.Con. And we'll see you here on the next one.
Boom. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. That was a pleasure.
Dude,
That was good.
So fun.
you've got a talent here.